All right, let's get started. Welcome everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. Today, we're going to do some mock-ups and so forth. All right, someone's driving by. All right, let's jump straight into it. We're going to use Vue to set up our environment. I was playing around. I don't know why I opened up a new shell when I should have one right here. I was playing around on the weekend. All right, remove the view test .zip. All right, cool. Remove the Mac OS stuff. What? There we go. I'm gonna move that, and I'm gonna call it Vue to do number picker test. Yeah, we're just playing around with a number picker. On the weekend, I was. Let's just open up that directory. So we're just going to close all of that. We're just going to close all of that. We are wanting to go down into the Vue. It's not there. Where is it? It's right there. No. There it is. All right, opening it up. We're going to open this up very, very quickly. We're just going to go this window, trust projects, yeah, because I built it. When we do that, we're going to go over here. We're going to cd into the number picker itself. We're going to go npm run in, npm install. So it's a pretty easy sort of number picker. If we go under the source, we've got our components. We've just got a simple number picker in here. We define the model. We import the compute sort of stuff. We define the props. Now there is one bug in here. And we've reached our very first ad break. So yeah, for those on YouTube wondering what's happening, we run ads on Twitch to stop the pre-rolled ads because the pre-rolled ads suck, absolutely suck. So yeah, you just get to see me for about a minute or two. So yeah, and this is Socks for those familiar. Here she is, she's getting her butt rubbed. So yeah, on the weekend, I was essentially building this very simple sort of component with the idea that what I do in here, I sort of have to do for other ones. So for example, I was setting up the unit tests, seeing how I would run those particular unit tests for this particular component and so forth like that. It was just a little test bed, something very, very simple and easy to do. Yeah, it went well. It went well. I spent a number of hours researching on stuff. I'm not familiar enough with how this particular way of how Vue.js is laid out is done, so there was a bit of research around that and how I would tackle things in the future. But hey, it works. So yeah, I'm quite happy. Anyway, welcome back everyone. Let's jump straight back into it. Socks is trying to cause some trouble. So yeah, you've got the props coming through and what we're trying to define them as. There is actually a bug in here, and I realized it last night. And I haven't tested for it. So for example, let's say you've got the max value being that number, but if you're in the negative, when I do the comparison, you actually produce a number that's larger than this. So that will be something we can try and fix today. Yeah. Just thinking how I could do that. Yeah, we'll that's fine. That's fine. So yeah, this is just this very simple sort of functionality. Once npm install finishes its thing, and holy hell, it's taking a while. It's not affecting the stream, right? No, I'm still getting 3,700 kilobits per second up. All right, cool. Stream health is fine. So yeah, basic sort of. Here you got a negative button. We've got the simple negative symbol in there. I was playing around with the ARIA labels, seeing what I could do with them. Hey, literally just playing around with it. There's the positive one, there's the input. We also have another bug, which I've just got to check with another number input. But what's happening is when you try and put negative first, it clears it out and it throws up issues and so forth like that. And I'm kind of like, all right. Well, I'll have to figure that one out. So, yeah. Wow. There's not that many node modules for this, so I don't know why it's taking so long to download. Well, now that I say that, you know, there's a lot in here. Oh my god, damn it. One thing I didn't do is linting. Yeah, but I would probably lean on more of an automatic linter. Nothing that hurts the dev's submit process or anything like that. Because yeah, ugh. All right, sucks. I need the mouse. Oh, and I got a new mouse, so I can finally scroll again. The middle button will. Oops, the middle button will work. Why is this still taking forever? Yeah, that's really weird. Actually, I just want to see one thing. npm run. It won't be watch. It'll be dev. Oh, it's working. All right, cool. I'm just gonna. And I'm going to bring that one down. I'm going to place it over there. I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to bring up like this. Yeah, so as you see, just a simple sort of selector. You can key in certainly positive numbers till you reach sort of the maximum. The maximum you can put whatever you want. So if we were going into the source, we went into the apps themselves. So for example, I've got a max in here has been 100 and I'm like, yeah, you know what? I don't need that 100 in there anymore. I can go back into here. It will just refresh and you can go, all right, cool. I can type whatever I want until you reach the maximum limit that you can actually do. Yeah, it's something very, very simple. The other things you can't do is you can't, of course, remove anything, which sort of makes sense, and you can't do a negative unless you do it out the front first. And I don't like that user experience at all, because yeah, I kind of want people to be able to use negative, but this is just me playing around with it. Another thing I don't like is I haven't done the borders right on the incrementer and you know. Decrimp, I can't even say it. So yeah, everything's working. We also have unit tests for it. So yeah, I was playing around with the unit tests. So we've got the, for example, a renderer, and what we could do is we could do stuff within there and actually get the data and so forth like that. We've also got one where we've got a wrapper where we wrap around and then we actually do something within there. So for example, we're finding the plus buttons and we're hitting, we're hitting the button itself to increment, so forth like that. I think I forgot how many tests I wrote, but it was a large number. If I open up another thing, npm run, I think I just had it as test. Yeah, I've got to do npx sort of stuff, don't I? Yeah, all right. We'll get that installed very, very quickly. Yeah, and got the coverage working. So I'm quite happy with this. So, yeah. The idea being is, yeah, this was just me playing around with it. And, yeah. And hello, Eve Smith, how are you going? Hopefully you're going well. I was busy building this little tiny component on the weekend, doing all the unit tests around it and so forth like that. So yeah, I'm happy with it. Today we're essentially going to do, we're going to mock up a couple of environments. So yeah, I kind of like this sort of design. We're going to look at a couple of designs, but at the start we're not going to worry too much about borders and so forth like that. We're just going to get it mocked up, and then we're going to play with fiddling around with getting it looking nice. So yeah, all right. Now, one thing I did want to sort of implement is a sidebar. And I've never actually implemented one before, so yeah, they've grown on me over the years. So I'm like, I'll try and use them. I should also go Tailwind CSS, go to the documentation, easy done. Let's go into the docs. Oh. Oh. Alright, this is, give me a couple of seconds. Tailwind CSS. Oh. Oh, Adelaide. Okay, that's not where I would expect my traffic to be going. Okay, cool. I start streaming and I'm breaking things already. There we go, we're back. Sweet, and we got the documentation. All right, I'm going to do that so you guys can read the documentation. We are probably going to set up a Vite instant. We're going to use Vite to actually set up all of this because I'm moving away from Webpack onto Vite, or Feet, or however you pronounce it. Yeah, and we're just going to mock these up. The idea being is if I really like something I've mocked up, I will actually incorporate it into the 032 build. So, yeah. Alright, what's the matter, Socks? You can come over here and say hi to chat. So, first things first, I am not going to do anything with that. I'm just going to go over here. I'm just going to cancel these. These aren't needed anymore. I'm just going to go up into the Vue testbed, and we are going to go over here. We're going to click on getting started. So let's... They're saying like Vite. We... Yeah, getting started. Sorry, I was hoping to npm create Vite latest. All right. npm create, I already forgot the command, create, yep, vite at latest. All right, yep. We want 8.0.2. Okay. I'm hoping this works. Because yeah, that's taking a little while to do anything. When I did this yesterday, this was pretty quick. Let's see if I need to update my version. I thought I just saw the version. 11.6.2. 11.6.2, so I've got the latest version, so that's pretty good. Okay. This didn't take this long yesterday. I don't have Bun or anything else installed. That's the one problem. Oh, I might have Yarn. No, I don't have Yarn. Alright, npm not installing. Alright. I'm just gonna sudo npm upgrade install. All right. Might have been because I didn't have sudo privileges or didn't have it installed. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Let's call this NearBeach mockup 1. We'll be using Vue. We'll be using TypeScript. We won't be using anything experimental at the moment. We will be installing with npm. Yeah, I think it's... Give me 2 seconds. Oh no. Alright, no, that worked. So, what were we saying? We were saying NearBeach mockup 1. Remove existing files. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. We want Vue, we want TypeScript, we don't want that. We want to install everything now. Easy done. Yeah, I think it just needs to install stuff at the global level, which I don't like. But let's just see if it'll work. Doing stuff live. All right, cool. Everything's up and running. So we should now have this URL. So if we copy this, we go over here, we ignore all of this, we just paste it in. There's our environment. So we're quite happy with that. All right. So, yes, in here, let's go components. Let's type in sidebar. So, yeah, we kind of want something like that, something simple, something easy. Get the code. Oh, don't say. Oh, I need to. All right, I don't have that money. It's just. We're just gonna have to figure this out. All right, not a problem. Oh. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is just remove everything from here and be like, all right, cool. So I want to open. I'm going to open up the NearBeach mockup. I'm just going to go to this window. Yeah, we're going to trust the project. This is fine. We don't need to worry about the README. We're just going to open up the app itself. We're also going to open up a couple of the. We're just going to remove a couple of things. Delete. There you are. Shoot. All right, give me a couple of seconds. I'm going to need to. Okay, sudo. This would be change group. That'll be NearBeach to NearBeach into the NearBeach mockup. We want to make sure that it is recursive. So recursive, change user. Change owner, that's the one, and it could be NearBeach into NearBeach. Ugh. Is it capital R? No, it's capital R. Whoops, my bad. All right, let's go into the mockup. Let's double check. I'm just going to do that like that. Yeah, that should be all like that. So now I should be able to edit stuff in here. So I can delete that and go, yes, done. Perfect. We've got this. We won't need that anymore. We will get rid of all of that. We'll get rid of all the style too. Actually, just wait. How have they set up everything? All right. Yep. Cool. That's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. We're going to get rid of the hello world. They've got the hello world set up. Okay, like in that. Okay. Yep. No, I can see that. We're just going to delete it. Easy done. Essentially, I'm getting a an empty sheet. So that's with that, and then we've got the index.html. So this is the basic index HTML. There's our app itself. There's it pulling in the JavaScript. So we're happy with. We're not going to make any change to that. With the basic style stuff, we've got the root family and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, some of that we can change. Oh, sorry. If I hit refresh on, yep, I stopped the thing. So if I do npm run dev on here, boom, we're back. So we got a pretty much an empty canvas at the moment. And what we're going to do is we're going to slowly fill it out. Yeah. So. Just going to do that. On here, what I'm going to do is I'm also going to have a look at icons. Because it's been a while since I've actually used Tailwind. I don't think there are built-in icons. No, it doesn't look like it. Not a problem. We'll get to that when we get to that. All right. Oh yeah, this is with the Tailwind Plus, yeah. Okay. And these are also decisions I've got to make. So, for example, if I have an ad bar across the top or not, which I might not. I mean, we could potentially for the search. But then on mobile phone... Well, this page isn't working, is it? They're really having trouble. All right. Scroll down to the one that actually... So we could potentially have a search at the top. We could potentially implement stuff like that. Which I think could potentially work. Yeah. Oops. Oh, they've obfuscated a lot of this code. All right. Damn it, I was hoping I was going to cheat. Not a problem. We'll move on to other examples. So we've got the flow pipe one, which I don't mind. Once again, that's just when it's like mobile phone, it'll be like that, and then the person will click on, I should do this so you guys can actually see. Oh, that's not working for that. I'm just going to hit refresh. So that's what it'll look like if we go into mobile phone. It'll look like that. And someone could click over here to get rid of it. Alternatively, I could have a little cross up the top. This is the mobile view. So yeah, this has warmed up to me over the years. I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah, I can understand it now. Why people are moving away from it, especially considering I kept adding stuff to the nav bar. I'm like, yeah, it's not looking good on mobile phone. It's horrible on mobile phone. All right, this is a mid-level menu. Oh, multi-level menu, sorry. Where you got multi-levels in there. Okay, yep, which is what we'll probably have. I don't know if I've seen this book before. I'm curious. Okay, no, I don't have that much money. No. Not a problem. Not at the moment. I just don't have it. Yeah. Anyway, this one, the content separator, which is probably what I'll end up using because we'll definitely have stuff at the bottom. For example, I want the sign in, sign out stuff to be at the bottom, and the profile, user profile stuff to be edited at the bottom. So yeah, I'll still have like the dashboard. There's the Kanban, there's the inbox, users, products, and so forth like that. Easy done. We'll probably have... Yeah, I've just got to lay everything out nicely. Oh, this one has a little... Yeah. Call to action button. Logo branding, which we'll probably end up doing. I don't mind. Yeah, I like having that logo in there. Oh, sorry. Big alert coming on. Alright, they've got this. Now, the other thing is, can I actually hide this? Because on a tablet view, it'll be fine. On a desktop view, I kind of want... I don't know if it'll be nice to hide it or not. And this is something I will play around with. So, yeah. Yes, socks. Okay, and then they've got the profile picture up there and they can log out, so they can do all of that kind of stuff, which is nice. And then they've got the project management stuff over there. Yeah, I could see that working. I would prefer a search. I do like that search. This is off campus. All right, so you can show navigation. Okay. My internet isn't out, is it? All right, that's just a bad link. Cool, no problem. I liked it with the nav bar. And the reason being is I could potentially put in the search in there and so forth like that. So let's just grab this as an example. We'll just go and copy this. We'll go back over here. Now this is the thing. I don't know where to create this piece of functionality yet. So I'm just going to paste everything in here at the moment. We'll have a look at it. We'll see how it all works. And then we'll start deconstructing it. We'll comment it out, try and build our own sort of stuff into it, and see how far we'll go. Once again, this is just an experiment tonight. We'll see what horrible creation we can muster. All right, so I'm just going to do, and I think it's, hang on. Control Alt L. There we go. All right, cool. Oh, we've got an ad break. All right, oh, cool. Hopefully everyone's going well. I'm going to quickly grab myself a drink because I realized I haven't actually had anything to drink in a while. I am getting thirsty. I'll be right back. All right. 18 seconds left of the ads. Alright, hopefully everyone's going well tonight. So, yeah, it's... What's today? Monday? Oh god, it's Monday. I need a holiday soon. Alright, oop, wrong one. There we go. Let's get back into it. So I've just pasted it in. Let's actually see how it runs in our mock-up. Not very well. Now, I'm trying to remember what I did yesterday. It's all the Tailwind stuff. So forth at that. Am I? I know I did something yesterday to get this to work. And hey, how are you going? Yeah, Streaky. How are you going, G-Bowen? Yeah, Bowen. How do I pronounce your name if you don't mind me asking? Sorry, we all know I'm terrible with names. How are you going, at least? So I try and remember what I did. Ah, now I remember. Alright, cool. I need to install the plugin for this. So it's got to be... Oops. And I'm just gonna... Yeah. It would be the Tailwind one, won't it? Using Vite, and again, created my project. All right, yeah, we've got to install something first. Yep, all right, cool, easy done. We'll quickly cancel out of that, and what we'll do is we'll paste that in, but we'll actually save it into the development stuff. Then it is simple as... You're pretty good? Oh, that's good to hear. Yeah, so I was playing around with Tailwind and Vite yesterday with the idea of starting mocking up things, starting to actually sort of get the process down pat, being like, all right, cool, if I make a component, I'm also going to do these as unit tests. This is how I'm going to do the unit tests and so forth like that, and sort of get that all up. How to pronounce... Bound. Bound. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. I'm terrible with words. Let's just say that. I don't know why this is not working without sudo today. Give me a couple of seconds. Let's have a look at the package log. We've got the Tailwind in there. We've got the Tailwind Vite in there. Let's open up this. We should have the Tailwind CSS and the @Tailwind Vite, I should say, talking about pronouncing things wrong. Awesome, I got it correct. Oh no, that's not the one. That's the one. Okay. So they're in there. And I just need Tailwind CSS in over here. That will be Tailwind CSS. Easy done. We're all happy with that. I'm going to say it's got installed and this is just glitching out. And we're going to go npm run dev. It's working perfectly fine. We're going to go back over here. I'm pretty sure that's all working hunky-dory. Oh, I need to import into the CSS file. No problem. That will go into this particular file itself. It'll go all the way up to the top. We'll just paste it in like that. Once again, we'll go through this whole file and probably clear out a lot of this stuff. You didn't get anything done today? Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. I got a lot done today. There'll be a timeout for between each drop, and I think it's about 3 minutes, if memory serves me correctly. And we've all got to beat Nightbot because Nightbot cheats. I'm gonna drop Shell Shock. Alright, so this is now working, kinda. I mean, it's somewhat working. So the idea being is a lot of this won't belong. This is where I'm going to look up a couple of things. Because initially Django rendered all the menus and so forth like that, and then rendered out a section where Vue.js took over. In which case, that worked perfectly fine. However, now we just want from the backend just a plain template. It won't render out anything. It will literally just send it to the user, and then the API will kick in and do everything else. And I'm just wondering what's the best practice around doing all that with laying out each of the components. So yeah, that's part of the research today. Today was debug day. Oh, nice. I don't mind debugging. Which reminds me, I got to do more today. Not today, tomorrow. Got to make sure things are 100% working. All right, so this is where we look up Vue.js, single page application example. Because yeah, we haven't ever had it as a single page application before. And I didn't click it in time. Now that my middle mouse button is working because I got a brand new mouse, the exact same mouse as before, because I had that other one for 5, 6, I had it for ages. And it just wear and tear finally died on me. Alright, so I'm going to do that so you guys can also read along with me. We believe there is no one-size-fits-all story for the web. That's why Vue is designed to be flexible and incremental adaptable. Depending on your use case, Vue can be used in different ways to strike the optimal balance between stack complexity, developer experience, and end performance. Awesome. Standalone script. Vue can be used as a standalone script file, no build step required. If you have a backend framework or you're rendering most of the HTML or your front end logic isn't complex enough to justify the build step, yeah, fair enough. That's the easiest way. Yep, cool. Ours sadly is a lot more complicated than this. So yeah. Embedded web components. Once again, that's how we used to do it. So the component was embedded into the HTML. The HTML was rendered by the backend. Standard can be embedded into the HTML page regardless of how they're rendered. Yep, easy done. This option allows you to leverage Vue in a completely consumer agnostic fashion. Yep, but yeah, we're moving away from that. We're doing the single page application. Some applications require rich interactivity. Yay. Deep session depth and non-trivial stateful logic on the front end. The best way to build such application is to use an architecture where Vue not only controls the entire page, but also handles data updates and navigation without having to reload the page, which is what we want. This type of application is typically referred to as single page application or SPA. And if someone asks me in chat if I'm building an SPA, I'll be like, what do you mean a SPA? No, I'm building a program. Vue provides core libraries and comprehensive tooling support with amazing developer experience for modern SPAs, including client-side routing, yep, which is what we want. Blazing fast build chain tool, yep, which we're using the Vite. IDE support, yeah, we all know I'm terrible with acronyms. Guaranteed someone will come in one day and ask me, oh, are you building SPA? And I'll be like, what? Yeah, it's going to happen. And testing utilities. All right, cool. SPA typically require the backend to expose API endpoints, which we're doing, which is awesome. But you can also pair Vue with solutions like Inertia.js to get the SPA benefits while retaining the server-centric development model, which I kind of wish I knew about this before. But, well, not a problem. Oh, nice. Still don't know what PWA. Pro Wrestling Australia. Progressive Web App. All right, cool. But yeah, I'm just for some strange reason it takes me forever to make those connections with acronyms. I don't know what. My brain hates language. All right, so we don't need to worry about SEO because everything's going to be behind login. We definitely don't want Google or any search engine to sort of scrape NearBeach. Marketing site, yeah, but the application itself, no. Pure client-side SPAs are problematic when the app is sensitive to SEO and time to content. This is because the browser will receive a largely empty HTML page and has to wait for the JavaScript to load and render anything. Yeah. Vue provides first-class APIs to render Vue. Yep. All right. Cool. So we're not going to worry about that. We're not going to worry about Jamstack. At least I think server-side rendering can be done ahead of time. No, we don't need to worry about that. Beyond the web, cool. So that's just talking about the ways of using Vue, but I wanted to talk about what's the best practice of how to lay everything out. There's a crap ton of them in tech. Oh, fair enough. And hey, Nocturnal, how are you going? How's the deadlifts? Are you back up again? So, we're not worried about server-side stuff because we'll have the API. We'll be doing most of the stuff client-based. Installing the Vue CLI. Yep, we're all happy with all of that. Yeah, we just got the basic sort of thing. So, VueJS single file component. So, they've just got a simple template. Div my component h1 message other. How old is this? 2003. It's not too old. Okay, there's still export and default. So template div app. Yep. All right. So that will have header main in it. All right. You're doing okay. Did 190. Holy hell. You're beating me. That is impressive. Jesus. Kilograms, 2 pounds. 190. Jesus. Yeah, you pass the 400 pound. Wow. That's amazing. So, yeah. All right, so they've got it split up. So they got the main thing and then they split everything up inside it, which is fine. I'll probably end up doing that. We'll get the git checkout step. All right, save ax. Yes, yep. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm not too worried about all of that at the moment. We just want to make sure I'm laying everything out in a particular way. So let's go back to our app. None of this is linking up perfectly. That is fine. We will figure this out. So what I've probably done is, did I just take I'm just going to copy that again, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete all of this. We're just going to paste it in. We're just going to format it. We're just going to remove those extra spaces. And we are going to see if that made any changes. No, it didn't. That's perfectly fine. We're just going to edit this slowly. So I don't know why this is all the way over there. Max width. All right. Not a problem. That's in our style. I'm going to destroy all of that. Wasn't the cleanest lift, but will get cleaner over the next few months. Yeah, definitely. 220 by the end of the year would be nice, and that's a lot. I was about to say that is as heavy as me, but I'm not 220 kilograms. I just, yeah, don't worry. I am actually 110 now. I'm half that. I weighed myself thinking I put on weight during the week, but no, I haven't. And I'm like, all right, that's a nice surprise. So yeah. All right, this is now working. Sweet. So let's just play around with it. Let's add in things that we feel should. Let's just change things around. So one of the things I would potentially do is definitely change the background color and all the colors and stuff like that. 100 kilograms, need to lose that. Yeah, me too. I need to lose 20 more. I'm doing it slowly because I know if I do it slowly, it stays off for a lot longer. So yeah. All right. Things I don't like. That's not popping up on mobile, but also let's not just use this as a test case. So Tailwind, sidebar. Let's also have a look at this. I'm going to go back. I'm going to have a look at this. I'm going to have a look at this, and we're just going to play around with stuff. So yeah, I'm going to do that for you guys and zoom in just a little bit better. So sample sidebar with icons, use the sidebar with Tailwind with minimalistic design, color scheme, typography and stuff like that. Yeah, we'll figure out the typography in a minute. All right. So this is just a simple div class. There's a size bar. All right, cool. That's yep, cool. Yep, no. I'm just going to scroll down. Multi-level one, which is probably what we need. And we'll definitely need a separator. Okay, it looks like this is just dealing with. All right, cool. Yep. Here's another one. Zoom in. Okay, it's clean, simple, it's easy. Yeah, I like it. It's very, very minimal. I don't like that. Not with just the icons. No. Okay. Where's this one? I like the one with the search in here. So this is definitely separated from here. There's different looks, and we've got lines indicating differences. The page that we're on has a lighter background. Yeah, all right. I do like that. And there's the search. All right. And the user will be able to do something like that. All right. Don't like the X there. I would have it in here. And also on mobile, I'll definitely have it so it takes over the whole thing. Okay. Going back into here. I'm going to split all of this up. So, once again, this is just a mock-up where we're not going to put everything. What are my words? Script. This would be setup. And then in the script, all right, cool. And then template, yep. And then we'll just paste that in. Yeah, I'll try and this will be script scoped, item scoped. Cool. Oh, not item scoped. Sorry. Yeah, not item scoped. There you go. Yeah, I'm going to try and get everything in here. It won't be properly set up or anything like that, so don't worry about that at all. We're literally just playing around with this. And that's not meant to be script, that's meant to be style. Sorry, my bad. And that's going to be... Cool. Done. So, yeah. Break everything out. Just going to have a look at my page, wherever it went. Over here. Here we go. All right. That was the, yep, that was the nav bar, and then we'll have the sidebar. Oops. Just delete it. Yeah, easy done. Let's go into file. Let's actually do this properly. Right hand click. We want a view component. We want sidebar. I think it's all, yeah, like that. Easy done. What we want to do is I'm just going to grab all of this. We're just going to shove it into here. We're just going to format the whole thing correctly. Easy done. We're just going to walk away. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do one, and it's just going to be called content for the moment. And what this will do is this will give us the ability for me to add in and remove components to less clutter up the screen and so forth like that. All right, our app will be next to nothing now. So now I need to import, and let's do navigation first. Oops. Meant to hit tab. And in here, what we want to do, we're just going to do that. Don't worry, what I'm going to do is that will be components and then navigation.view. Oh, it doesn't import. All right, doesn't export name. All right, cool, cool. I think I remember this. There we go. Oh, wrong one. Oh, I can close that one. All right, where is this mockup? I'm just gonna hit refresh. There we go. Perfect. Okay. I'm probably gonna. Give me a second. I'm just wondering if I want to actually start on the nav bar very, very quickly and lay everything out how we want it to. I'll also need the NearBeach logo, which I think I've got a NearBeach NearBeach logo.svg. Pretty easy stuff. I'm just going to save that in the file itself. So we want to go to sites, view testbed, mockup. We've got a source, assets, and we've just got the NearBeach logo on there. We'll just paste it in there very, very quickly. Then we can close that tab. So let's just jump into the navigation. Let's just set everything up how we want it to set up. So we've got the fixed, top 0, Z index will be 50, the width will be full, it will be background white, which it's blue at the moment. The border B, I actually don't know what border B is. Let's have a look over here. All right, no, wrong one. Oh. Let's open up our Tailwind documentation. Border B. No. Huh. I hate inconsistent logins for the various services that work. Fair enough. I would too. In Tailwind, border B utility class is used to apply a border specific to the bottom edge of the element. Okay, so it's at the bottom. All right, cool. No, now I get it. So it's just happening at the bottom. So it'll be happening along there. I should also Tailwind colors. All right. So one of the things I actually do is I use hot pink as a color to indicate that some changes haven't happened. All right, let's scroll up. Background colors, yeah. Basic examples. All right, where's our colors? All right. No, they don't have. Yes, they do. All right, rows 500. So that's going to go on the app itself. I'm just going to have a just expecting the body. All right. First one, which is for clients and staff, in email. Second one, just staff is username. It makes sense, but fair enough. Yep. No, I get it. Consistency helps. I love my single sign-on. I'm just going to close the blinds because it is dark. And I'm going to stand. I haven't stand at all today. All right, so what I'm trying to do here is I'm going to apply some hot pink. And the idea is if we see that bleed through, I've done something wrong somewhere, meaning I might have added in a margin somewhere, which will cause issues. And I use hot pink because it stands out and I don't use hot pink in any other bits of my work. So we are going to go to the index over blah blah blah, wherever it is, there it is, index.html. We've got the body, and then what I want to do is I just want to do style equals background color, and I'm just going to type in hot pink. I think that's going to be done, and now we can see its garishness. So yeah. That's going to help me because I can't actually see what that border is. And that's one of the things I might be like, all right, let's just strip that out, that information out. Let's get the layout and then come back and actually start re-adding those things in. I can't see these things in my head, so sorry. It's more of me just playing around with stuff and getting it to where I want it to. So we've got fixed tops, Z index 50, width full, background white. I'm just going to get rid of the border B, border gray. I'm just going to get rid of the borders at the moment. But it is definitely something we can add back in at a later date. All right, so I'm happy with that. Now we've got the padding X, so and padding Y, all being 3. But when it's a large, that padding gets increased to padding X being 5, and then the padding left being a 3. Oh, I didn't mean to click on that. Sorry. Let's go inspect. So that's there. So padding X5, padding X5, large, padding left 3. What I can do is I can okay. I don't know why if we've got left we can still do right. Yep. All right. No, I understand that. And then yeah, we're justifying each of the items in between, and then like so. That's perfectly fine. We've then got the logo off to the left, and this is where I will have a look at the other ones. So I like this better with the search. That's my preference. I like that a lot more. So we'll probably do something like that. In which case, this will be flex, item centered, justify start, right to left, justify end. What? Honestly, don't know what that is. RTL. Let's have a look. Right to left. All right, flow byte is out. Sorry, I'm just going over here. All right. Now we've got a button there, and I'm just wondering if that appears when we get really small, that button appears. It'll make all of that pop up and so forth like that. Oh, that's also something I've got to think about. Okay, so going in here, they've got it always there, and then when you zoom out, it... All right, I like that idea. Okay, cool. So in here, we've got this button. It's going to disappear. Yeah, it's just going to disappear when we're on mobile. Sorry, on desktop. And then we've got this down here, which once again, I don't like. I'm going to get rid of it. And that's perfectly fine. No problem with that whatsoever. So if we have a look at this now, we've just got it looking like this. And if I shrink everything, that will suddenly appear. And I'm liking that. I think that's cool. I will have to move. At the moment, with them being SVGs, that's perfectly fine. Screen reader only says open sidebar. That's I'm going to keep in. Definitely keep that in. That's actually nifty. I kind of like that idea. All right, cool. So yeah, that's the basic of it at the basis of it at the moment. Then we've got now, because it's just one thing in there, I think this becomes a item sent, justified start, and then I just think it's just one item in there now. So yeah, data draw target draw. All right, cool. I don't know what those are, but that's fine. What's the matter, sweetie? Did you want to come out? All right, there you go, in your bed. Yeah. Okay. This is where everyone learns I'm a terrible designer. I don't design at all. I just, yeah. This is why NearBeach looks like it does. And when we had our AGM the other day, I brought it up with one of the members and they're like, yeah, we need to really push the design. So, yeah. All right. Whoops. That. So that's a flex. Item centered. Oh yeah, we don't need any of that because it'll be the same. So I'm going to add another one. Class equals flex items centered. I'm going to. Do we want justified between? Give me a couple of seconds. Let's flex box justify. So we don't want start to do space around, space between. No, space evenly. I'm just going to go start. Done. Yeah. Because if we don't have the search bar going the full length, it'll be nice to have it on the very left. So if we saw that design over here where it was on the very left, I don't know how far that is going. For this, it takes over the whole page. It looks like it does take over the whole page here, which is fine. I'm not going to complain. Where's our thing? There it goes. So, I think, yeah, if we have a simple logo, I should find an SVG. Give me a couple of seconds. So, RT logos. Oh, no, wrong one. Open source logos. Let's. That should be fine. Actually, there's icons. I'm gonna keep it simple. All right, cool. Yep. View test bed. Yeah, let's just place it into here. Easy done. Let's go straight into here. Let's open up the search. So I was meant to open it up like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy the line. Once again, we're not doing this 100% properly. We're just mocking something out very, very quickly. So I'm just going to paste that in, followed by an input. Type equals text. All right, we're just going to leave it like that for the moment. I just want to see what it looks like. So, hey, that looks quite horrible, if you ask me. All right, I am also going to see what they're doing up here with the SVG. So SVG class width height 6'6". All right, cool. We're going to probably do the same thing. Fill current car to do. We are going to rebuild this icon down here with what we've got up here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're just going to yank those 5 lines. I'm just going to paste them above and we're going to go, all right, cool. I'm going to scroll all the way across here. We are going to bump this one down. And we're going to bump this one down. And then we're going to bump this one down too. So up in here, we've got path, we've got the clip rule, we've got even odd. I don't see any color information in here, but if we go over here, yeah, we can see that it's like that. All right, but when I go, all right, now I'm starting to get it. So I'm gonna need a div around that. But first, I'm just double checking all the information. So I'm going to go class equals W6, H6. They're doing that, so I might as well too. Oh, looks like there is already a class in here, so I'm just going to get rid of all of that. Stroke width. I'm going to be naughty. I'm going to change this. I'm going to go 1. Round class. I'm going to get rid of that. We're going to go W6, H6. We don't have the width information at all. The view box is 2020. Okay, cool. I think, yeah, we're gonna ruin some stuff, but you know what? We're, once again, we're just making this up. Whoa. All right, I'm going to div class equals, and hey, Petrus, how are you going? Yes, this is Socks. She likes to be on stream. Hopefully you're going well. I am currently figuring this out. So, yeah. Alright, we don't need to worry about those. Type button class. I'm just going to copy all of this class. We're just going to copy it. Where am I? There I am. Just going to paste it in like this. We're just going to go boom, and then we're just going to go, yep. We're just going to go grab that, and then we're going to go at the start. There. Done. I cheated. All right. Easy done. But now we've broken the icon. All right. I don't know where it's gone. It's gone over there. Yes, inline flex, item centered, small text rounded, yes. So this actually now disappears when it's on mobile, which is not what we want to do. There's something in here that I need to get rid of. So we've got all the darks, we've got all the focus, we've got the focus, outline none, focus, ring 2, inline flex. Item center, padding is 2, small, hidden, no we don't. Done. All right, cool. I'm just going to leave that one as like that. That's perfectly fine. And then what I'm also going to do is up here, we've got all of this, and then we've got that, and then we've got that. Oh, all right. So we've got to justify between, and I'm just going to say, should we do a width 100 here? do have a width 100 somewhere. Width full, not width 100. That's my bad. Don't know if that will work. Let's just bump this up. Yeah, no, didn't like it. There you go. That's what I need. The width full. Because we want that to take over the whole screen. All right. So now I've got the search. Now I'm going to pretty much edit the input. Ooh, sorry about that. I just like threw my tennis ball away. All right. So. Thing is, I don't know if I have to apply this directly on here, but we'll figure that out. Who knows? I'm just gonna bring these onto new lines like so. We're just gonna go class equals, we're gonna go width is gonna be full. I'm also going to put in we're just gonna go background color. I'm just trying to remember the commands for it. Sorry. This is, yeah, background. We're going to pick rows 500. Once again, default sort of colors for what I want to play around with and so forth like that. So we got something looking like that. I don't even know where that turned. Oh, there we go. That ball went over here. All right. I'm not liking the look of that, but we're going to improve it. We are definitely going to improve this. So, please ignore all the colors. Once again, they're just temporary. I'm just wondering if a height of 6 will do anything. No. All right, let's actually go Tailwind, CSS, input fields, input text. I mean, I don't mind those. Those look nice. So we've got the label, we've got the input text. All right. The first name, background gray, border. Got all the border stuff. We've got text small. I'm not going to go rounded just yet. Okay. When it's focused, we've got the border blue. All right, that's also what we need. That makes sense. Whenever you click on it, you want to be like, hey, you're actually on this at the moment. All right, cool. I like that. Okay. Cool. We also want to do padding. So if I go back here, let's write in some random text. I'm also going to have a look at this one in here. So this one actually doesn't have a border, which... yeah. But it's got a placeholder. So let's add in the placeholder first. And another thing is, I'm wondering if I can do that icon in a different way. Something like that. So I am going to do that in a different way. All right. I'm just going to copy this for a second. We're just going to play around. We're going to see what happens. I know I'm going to break things. All right. So that does put something nice up there. All right. We've got a nice little icon in there. I think that's probably the best sort of solution for that. All right, cool. I'm gonna edit what I've just done. We're gonna remove those particular fields because, let's be honest, they look horrible. So, goodbye. And we're gonna rewrite them with doing something like that. So what I want to do is, once again, div class equals, we want the flex item center. We don't need any of that now that we're sort of connecting this all together. So they've got this div class absolute in set at start 0. All right, let's have a look at what the documentation says. Let's just go over here. I'm going to keep the color tab open. I'm just going to go over here. We're just going to go, no, not all of that. Thank you very much. Inset. Oh, that's flow by. Oops. Okay, cool. I'm just going to do this so you guys can actually read. Utilities for controlling the placement of positional elements. So, for example, our little logo or something like that. So, basic example, number top right, number right, and so forth like that. So, kind of like all of that. All right, easy done. So, this will be div class relative. All right, yep. And then we can use negatives, all right, which we won't need to do. All right, so going in here, so this will be a flex. We won't need item center or anything like that. This will then be the div class. This will be absolute. In set at, so y will be 0, so at the bottom. All right, start is going to be 0. I don't know what the PS and the pointer effects none are doing for this at the moment, but we'll do that. I'm going to grab this SVG. Yeah, I'm going to grab... Yeah, it's fine. I'll just grab this one. All right, need to let all of that up. So that should now give us something like that. All right, sweet. And the thing is, you'll notice that it's right up into the corner, and if we do something like that, all right. So if I get rid of the absolute, it then goes there. Figuring stuff out. Alright, cool. So the next thing I need to do is add in my input. I'm just going to copy their input temporarily. We're going to build our own, and we're going to change this one around anyway. Let's go over here. So yeah, it's not quite how we want it. Cause that's yeah, and that goes all the way over there. And then when I do that, yeah, that's not what we want. I'm just wondering if that's meant to be positional. Alright, I'm just going to hit refresh to the page. We've got this. I'm going to click on this particular thing, and we're going to play around with a couple of these. So, I don't know what start 0 does, so I'm getting rid of it. Didn't do much. I am... Didn't do much. Okay. Just gonna hit refresh again. Absolute doesn't work because it moves it all the way over there. But if I remove this, it still stays there. If I remove that, that moves it in. All right, cool. I'm gonna hit refresh again. We're gonna jump on this. I'm just going to go and gonna put absolute back in. Now we said if we remove this start, we get the y equals that. If I do something funky and I go a y1, it goes up to the top. All right, that makes sense. We do want this as a y0. Sorry, my phone keeps going off. I'm just seeing. All right, no, you know I'm streaming. All right. So we do want an absolute. We want something like that. And then I think we've got to bump it a little bit that way. Just by the tiniest bit. So going back into here with, oops, wrong page. In here, we want absolute. We want to get rid of this. We want to get rid of that. We're happy with that. In set x by, I'm just going to go 1. We're just figuring out these numbers as we play along. I don't think that worked, but we'll have a quick look. So inset x by 1, I'm just going to do it by a 5. By a 0. All right, didn't do much. Oops. Well, that was definitely my bad. Oh my god, come on. Thank you. Absolute is spelt wrong. I'm just gonna get rid of those. Inset x, and I'm gonna do a 1 there again. Cheers, thank you very much, Flowfields. How are you going? Hopefully you're going well. You'll probably spot me do a lot more spelling mistakes, so do shout them out because there are times I do not see them. And that is no joke. So, in this sort of case, this is a flex. Alright, I'm gonna get rid of that then. What if I do padding left by 1? No, I didn't like the padding left. And I don't know if I need these because there's only going to be that SVG in there. So I probably need those. All right. Yeah, all right. I needed those. Yeah, to get it in the center. All right, cool. Now let's do padding left. I'm just going to pick a big number. Cool, padding that left does work. Let's pick a reasonable number. All right, I like that. Cool. So let's play around with this now. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go width full. I want to see this full screen. Cool, sweet. I'm happy with that. The next thing I'm going to do is definitely change the input sort of stuff. I don't know if I like those borders and stuff like that. I might get rid of all of that coloring. But we'll do it. We'll play around with it now. All right. So first things first, let's get rid of that. Once again, we're just in the light designing sort of process of this. So we've got an input type. We've got an ID, which we probably won't need anyway. We'll get rid of that in a second. We've got the class, and we've got the placeholder. I think that should be like that. All right, cool. So the placeholder, we're just gonna go search. Easy done. With this, oh, no, I don't want the background, nor do I want the border. So background gray, we're getting rid of border, we're getting rid of. We've got the text small. We're getting rid of the rounded. We're getting rid of the focus ring for the moment. We'll leave the block in. Width full. Padding S. So I hate how it thinks I keep hitting that. Padding S. All right, let's have a look at the input itself. Let's just edit some things in here. Padding S and padding 2.5. Gonna get rid of that. But what I want to do is actually padding 2.5. I'm gonna put the padding 2.5 back in. But the padding S. What's that? Okay, give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to hit refresh. We'll come back in. Once again, design is about making mistakes and fixing them. I make a lot of mistakes, especially with the design. So padding S, where have you gone? There you go. Okay. Just gonna hit refresh. Oh, there's a bunch of pseudo elements. All right, cool. Cause yeah, there's a big gap between that and that. So I'm just gonna put an 8. We'll see what happens. The 2.5s with the padding, I mean, I'm just going to knock that down to a 2. I'm not going. Once again, we're not going to worry about the border background and stuff like that. The placeholder text, I think, is actually a really good color at the moment. Dark, yeah, we want the text white. Dark focus ring, we don't want the focus ring at all at the moment. Once again, we can program these. We can put these things back in. I just want to do something which looks nice. Now there is that horrible focal ring around it now. Alright, where are my... Alright, focus. Alright, not hover, So if there's active, where you click on something. Oh, those as well. Alright, no. Invalid border, yep, focus. Border, okay, focus, alright. Let's see if that works. Might need a refresh. No. Alright. Yeah, I've got focus border that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put those back in. Going to refresh. Oh yeah, still doing that. All right, I'm going to have a look at where I reference this. It's in one of these things. All right, I'm going to close that. Oh yeah, it was in here. Yeah, they've got it like that. And then I'm just going to copy this particular one again. I'm just going to paste it down here. We're just going to play around with it. So yeah, they've... yeah, I don't know why it's like that then. Okay, Tailwind, focus, border, should be none. Going down here, I have the same issue when I set to all right, how old is this? About 4 years old. I think they changed stuff since then. Focus outline none. All right, cool. Let's try that. Focus outline none. Better. All right, that's what I wanted. Cool. So yeah, the idea is someone will come in, there'll be a search icon and all that kind of stuff in the future, and then when they go small enough, it'll be like that. Sweet. All right. Now I've just noticed that that icon's been squished like this. We're gonna have to fix all of that up, but not a problem. What we'll do is we'll fix this one up so far, so we're all happy with this. This just keeps going on and on and on and on and on. Like so, and we reach up to somewhere like around about there. Now, on desktop mode, I reckon we could easily put in the user's name and so forth like that. Just wondering if full width, if there's priorities for full width and stuff like that. Don't know, but we'll figure it out. So I'm happy with that so far. Okay. Oh yeah, that's meant to be clicked and something's meant to open up, but it won't work for us, but that's not a problem. The other thing is we can have the sign out stuff in the sidebar. Instead of having something where you click and a little thing takes over, we can have the NearBeach logo over there instead, which might be nicer. Don't know, but we'll play around. And what I mean is, so for example, let's go to this particular one. I might not want this popping up like that, whereas I could probably have it in the sidebar itself. Though when you usually see sign in stuff and log out stuff, it is at the top right. And we don't have I'm just thinking at the moment, so yeah, and then they've got that doing the drop down. I mean, it makes sense. But at the same time, like for example, you can have something down here and so forth like that. And when this goes into, then again, they do actually have the user up there. And then they do have the menu like that. All right. It's just that when all of this is up, yeah, all right. Yeah, I've just got to program that in. But I think we can have more information up there. So this is what an iPhone 6 will approximately look like. Don't know if those logos will clash. It's another thing. In here, they've got it like that. With this one, they've got a breakpoint. Little, yeah, a little separator. So, Tailwind, vertical separator. So, do with icon. All right. It's gone to the plus stuff. Damn it. Oh, I like that. Yeah, I don't want the plus stuff. I just want vertical set. No, alright. Probably can't even spell. Oh yeah, that is actually a good point. I can just use the border functionality. So down here, if we open this up, we've got this one. That's a button. What we want to do is, let's go border right. So we can get a little border in there. That will work wonders. And then we just got to make sure it disappears. This one disappears when we're on the bigger screen, which is not hard to do. We're just going to move a little bit of code around. So let's do that. Let's tackle it like that. So going up here, we've got this. Once again, that's meant to center it horizontally. That's perfectly fine. Let's just leave that in there. Let's go border right. We're not going to worry about any of the other things at the moment. What we're also going to deal with is it only showing up when we need it to show up. So this should be anything SM hidden. And we can get rid of it here now. If I go back over here, let's just refresh the page. So it'll work like this, but the instant I go to, let's say, an iPad, boom. It'll disappear, and it disappears completely. And then we can deal with the padding too. I'm not liking that padding. Yeah, I just don't like that padding. All right. Should be better now, but also at the same time, I'm not a fan of that padding. Now, this is the joy of doing design like this, is you figure something out, you move everything around, and then you're like, nah, I hate that, hate that, hate that, and then you spend more time fiddling with stuff. So yeah. All right, so I want padding 2, but then I want padding left to be 1.2. All right, cool. Let's do what I've just done. So this class will now disappear when it's not there. Now the other problem is down here we've got a padding left of a 2. That worked before, it doesn't work anymore. We'll just do that. So if we hit refresh on this page, that's looking a lot nicer. Now I've just got to deal with the text box itself, the input, sorry. So if we've got the input, we've got a padding 1.2. I'm just gonna, we want padding left, whoops, to be a, I'm just gonna go for a 1 to start off with, where, oof, not what we want. I'm gonna do padding left 2. Definitely not what we want. It's too far out from that icon now. It's the problem, it's not, it's this. Oh, it's the PS8. It's the PS8. There you go, PS6. Cool. So we're a lot closer now. That's looking a lot nicer. That will cover the whole entire thing. And then if I go down back into the phone, this is where I want to change some of this. And we've definitely got to do this a lot better, because on the phone, you guys have seen it blown up, but when you go and have a look at your phone, it's not going to be that big. So I've also got to account for that, and I've got to increase the text and so forth like that. But at the moment, let's just get this border and padding right. So I need the breakpoints. So Tailwind, CSS breakpoints. That's version 1. No, I don't want version 1. Responsive design. All right, sweet. So small is 40 pixels or 40 RMs, and bigger. Let's have a look at the mock-up. This is 400. Yep. All right. Cool. So as we get bigger, that disappears around that mode. All right. Cool. Around about the 6. Yep. 640. All right. Cool. I think that's good. All right. Let's deal with this border. We'll also need to add in a margin too. So border right, let's add in border. Let's go 2 border. Let's go let's do a simple gray 500. I don't know what the 2 will look like. Oh, I hate the 2. Easy done. That beard makes you look like a bit of... Fair enough. Thank you very much. And welcome again. So, yeah. We're just working on designing stuff today. And I am terrible at design. But at least the beard's here for a good, you know, I can be like, yeah, Now, I use this screen to plan breakpoints. Screen size map. Ooh. Let's have a look. Oh, nice. Yeah, no, I like this. This is quick and easy. So, yep. Screen width. All right. I know the smallest phone I will support is an iPhone 6. But yeah, no, this is awesome. Cheers. Thank you very much. All right. 27. Right, going in here, I need to add in a little bit of padding. Oh, and I just realized we're in an ad break. Sorry, I've just noticed the ads. Start by clicking on the higher button. All right. Yep, 640. Yep, cool. That's the Samsung Galaxy. Yep. And then that jumps up to that to being, yeah, the 1360. Yep, cool. Yeah, no, this is actually really useful. Thank you very much. Yeah. About 20 seconds left of the ads. And I'm just wondering, could I cheat? All right, cool. I think as we were discussing that, I was having a little think in my head. This border, I can't change the height whatsoever. And I'm not liking that height. It is annoying me. But I want the button to be a lot bigger. And the reason being is you got to think about the thumb. So having a bigger button with padding around it, which should mean that if someone were to click close enough to it, that should activate the button with the padding. But the border doesn't need to be that big. And I think I got a solution. I'm just testing this out. Let's also do padding left. Let's do padding left 4. This is gonna ruin stuff. I know. All right. So we do have something kind of out there. We've been putting it on the div element itself. But what I can do is I can just remove that. That's fine. And I think it's not working because the width is a 0, but if I do it as a it's not going to work. But what if I change that to a div? No, all right. All right, it was worth a try. Yes, I know socks. All right, what do you want? Oh, there we go, in your bed. Tailwind, border, right. Height. Let's see if there's a way I can actually do this. Nah, there isn't. Not a problem. Do 1 pixel. All right, cool. Oh. Yes, there is the after stuff. Oh, I forgot about that. So, Tailwind after border. All right. I'm gonna focus on the higher up stuff first. So. We've got the content, non-content, content. All right. So utilities for controlling the content on or before or after the pseudo element. All right, cool. Content, value, syntax along with before and after. So how would I do this? After content. Okay. Yep, I can do that. And then adjust with content being nothing. And then we could potentially do the height and all that kind of stuff. So now we can start playing around with this again. I'm just going to get rid of that. And what we want to do is we want to paste that in. I'm just going to leave it like that. And then I'm going to go after content border. Oh, that's actually first. Let's leave it like that. Let's see if that works. Where am I? There I am. All right. I'm just going to write hello. Cool. That's working. So we've got some content there. So what I want to do is I want to go over here and I want to, so hello world, yep. Content, my content, using a CSS variable. All right, we don't use content custom property syntax to control the before and after. All right, content. All right, let's play around with this. So going to add this in. Let's just play that in. I don't know if it's meant to be border right red. I don't think that will work. No. Or if I meant to have it like that. No. All right. Width 1 pixel. Height we specify. Okay, let's see what I can do. So we've got this. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to bring this data off to the left so you guys can see. I realize that the content itself now disappears and I do apologize. Actually, you know what? I'm going to bring this down to the bottom. And I'm going to separate out this window. Going to do that. Yeah, why not? I'm just going to do that. We're going to edit into that mode again. We're going to click on that. So down here, I'm going to click on that. Just also, that person didn't rate anyone. That is annoying. I'm going to, yeah. All right. So in here, we've got all this. We want to click on the after. And then in the after stuff, wherever it is, here it is. Delete content. That is like that. And that is like that. All right, cool. That's going to be nothing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a width 1 pixel. I'm going to do a height of, let's say, 6 pixels. I'm going to do a background color of hot pink. Not hot pinkle, hot pink. And we can, barely see it. We're also going to do a padding to the right of 10 pixels. Oh, that extends the, but now you guys can actually see the hot pink there. So that shouldn't be padding right. Sorry, that should be margin right. My bad. And then the height itself would be something like that. And yeah, I almost don't mind how that's laid out. Almost. Yeah. Okay. Now I just got to get the the Tailwind syntax. So going back into here, that's like var custom property. It adds the var function automatically. All right, cool. So prefix a content utility, so content mobile MD before content desktop. All right, cool. Yeah. So that one we're done with the before. Attribute name, syntax reference a value stored in an attribute using the attribute CSS function. Do we have CSS variable? So custom property, and then before and after. So that will be my content. Okay, content. That's not going to work because I've spelt everything wrong, but you know, it's worth giving it a shot. This is localhost 500 and something. Is it? What's the time? 9 o'clock. All right, cool. Gotta be careful. I've got some stuff to do tonight for work. Just bump that down. Yeah, that's not doing what we want it to. Okay. I might be thinking into this too much. And I think I'm spending way too much time getting this to work when I should be making the slide bar work. So I'm going to call it on the nav bar. I'm going to remove this. And once again, I can come back and I can refine a lot of this. I've got to test on real mobile products and real tablets and stuff like that to actually see how people would read on it. All right, so otherwise I'm pretty happy with the menu. Not gonna lie, I'm like, all right, cool. It's my first shot. I did something. We can get that thing to sort of, we'll play around with stuff to get things working. Let's get the slide bar working now. So if I get out of this, let's close this one. I'm just going to close these. We don't need them open. We're going to open up the content body. No, we can close that. That's fine. Index, yeah, we can close that. That's perfectly fine. So we've got the navigation, and now we'll have the sidebar. Easy done. So that gets imported, and there it is. So I'm very happy with that. I don't like the fact that it's the search is taking over it. I want the nav bar to end there. And I don't know if that is the case if I just need to do that. Don't know. We'll find out in a second. No, sadly not. Not a problem. All right, let's play around with this. So we've got the aside. Now that's fixed, top, left, that's 40, width is that height is the whole screen. Padding top is 20. I'm going to say no. Where the hell did padding top go? There we go. So padding top, no. Transition, transform. So the one problem is, you can see here, it doesn't quite work how we want it to. So we've got the width 64. What I can do is with the sidebar do the same, with the navigation bar, do the same thing. I should have kept navigation bar open, sorry. We'll just open that up very, very quickly. So this is fixed, top, width, full, and so forth like that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go margin with the left, and we're going to go 64. And done, perfect. That's how I want it set up. However, when we are going into the smaller screens, I don't want that. So as you see, I think it's 640. So yeah, the small. So if we go into here and we go small, it's going to do that. And then presto. Now, let's say this was an iPad. Did we always want this here? Possibly not. And this is where I gotta think how these connect together. But then again, so I'm just having a good think about this. And what we want to actually happen is, when it's like this, we want the 64. But when we hide, because on an iPad you want as much real estate as possible. So for example, I like this. And I'm going to bring up an example. This will take a little while. No, come on. Sorry, it's a bit slow. This is not the fastest thing in the world. I wanted NearBeach. Let's do something like that. Alright, cool. Just because I don't have my iPad on me at the moment. But yeah, you got something like that. So if all of a sudden this is all taken up with something that you don't use 100% of the time, you'll be using it probably 10% of the time. It's not worth taking up more than 10% of the screen. It's just not. So that is something I've got to think about, how to make that sort of interactive. However, that being said, that is not a problem we have to solve at the moment. Let's just get the basic sort of design working, and then I can come back and clean this all up. So, the thing I wanted to do here was I did want to re-add in the NearBeach logo at the top. So in here, what we wanted to do is, so we wanted to see this. So we've got the Flowbyte logo there. I'm just scrolling, expand code, thank you. That would be that section there. And thank you very much, Half Sketches, for the follow. Welcome, welcome. I do hope you are enjoying my content. As I figure this out, I'm not a designer. So if you have any questions about design, I'm like, I don't know. But yes, welcome, welcome. All right, so we've got that up there. We've got a padding on the top. I'm going to get rid of that padding on the top. We've got all of that, and I'm just wondering if I should have the logo before it, and then we'll have that as a different class. Yeah, I'm going to do that. All right, so we've come into here. We've got this. We've got the class fixed top 0, width 64. We've got padding top 20. I'm going to get rid of that. I don't want it. We've got the transforms and all that kind of fun stuff. We've got the if it's small. Yep. All right. Cool. Yep. Sweet. All of that fun stuff. We've got the Arial label, and then what I want to do, boom, up here. I'm just going to go div class equals h. It won't be h full. Won't be any of that. We'll probably actually have dark background gray 900. But also we might have background white. Oh, Sarah. We'll go under 50. Gonna paste that in. I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm gonna do the NearBeach. I'm gonna be and we're gonna pick the right logo also. Let's go to NearBeach. Let's go to NearBeach logo. We're just going to copy that. We're just going to go over here. We're just going to paste it in. Perfect. All right, cool. So height 8, ME3. I don't know what ME stands for at the end. We're just going to go with NearBeach logo. We're all happy with that. Now this is justify flex. And then item center, margin end. Oh, cheers. Thank you very much. And then I don't want to justify, I want to justify around. Okay, cool. Getting there. All right, let's play around with this. So the one thing I want to actually do is with the nav bar, we've got the height being, when it's bigger than small, it's ML64. Otherwise, no, that's margin. No, we don't actually have height, do we? I kind of want to set the height, and the reason being is so that the height here will match that. And I'm just... Then we still want the padding in there. Yeah, all right, cool. Give me a couple of seconds. Tailwind, height. There's our sizing. So, show more. Okay, no, not quite what I want. that's nice. Okay, size pixel 1. I think we've got to do it in size pixel. All right, cool. But then, oh. All right. So I'm just trying to think how I can do this elegantly. The one problem is if I just put in the heights and stuff like that, and then something changes and so forth like that, it's going to annoy the hell out of me because then I got to do it everywhere. And I'm like, all right, cool. What if I set the height on the logos themselves and then do the padding the exact same? So the height should match the height which is in here, so of the input itself, which we have not set. But that might be a blessing in disguise. Because then we got all of that, and then that should be all fine. And that's a margin start 3. That input's really long. What happened with the profile picture? Or did I accidentally delete that? No, I shouldn't have deleted it. It's right there. That should be width full. That's width full. Okay, no problem. I'm going to continue working with this. So I don't know what the input size is, the height. So we know the width full. The height is 32. That's stated as an 8. So I've got to add padding onto that one. So PX3. Oh, and PY. PX auto, I should say. And PY3. And I believe I nailed that. Awesome. All right, cool. So going back over here, we want to go into the sidebar. We want to go, all right, sweet. We want to go PX auto and then PY3. Now, I do know that that's for small. We've got to have a look into here. Again, I do know we've got something like that. So PY3, oh, it's PY3 all yep, all right, cool. And then when I go into smaller screen, that's going to pop out, but that's not going to be a problem when we open up the menu. I want it to take over the whole page. And I should transition both of those. But once again, those are just last minute. That's you do those last. Let's get the layout done. We're trying to get like equivalent of a wireframe here. And yeah, I realize I don't like that color change and stuff like that. We'll fix it up later. And I just realized that we're in another app break. I'm terribly sorry. I'm just really hyper focusing on this little bit of work. So yeah, just trying to get a layout out, get some quick feedback on it. I don't want to spend too much time, but I'm trying to keep the time on it. Yeah, and then once I'm happy, you know, show people and build it. All right, welcome back everyone. Let's go back into the works. So let's make sure that these are now closer to each other. So the one thing is I don't like the justify around. I probably have mucked that up. Let's have a look in here. Justify. So I keep forgetting all of these. Justify self-centered. Whoa. Oh no. Navigation sidebar. All right. Sweet. So we're in here. We don't want justify. Justify self. Center. Oh. Not quite. I think we just need the justify center. Yeah. And that's it. All right. So I'm kind of happy with that. Kinda. Just realizing it's not lining up with the items below it. It might be one of those things that I come back and actually sort of fix all of that up. But yeah, we are getting somewhere with this. Okay. Let's start editing those items on now. So one of the things I would want to do is I would definitely want to add some padding at the top of this. I want to get it separated from this. So we've got that, we've got all of that, and then this will be padding top, and let's do an 8. Now I just realized that we've got the paddings over here, so we're going to go padding top, and we're just going to go 8. Way too much. 6, still too much. 4. All right, yep, that'll do. I'm happy with that. The next thing we want to do, so we've got the dashboard, we've got the Kanban ones, we've got the, yeah, we'll do project tasks. Request for change, sign in, yep, all right, cool. So, another thing that I've just realized too. Is I probably want to separate these and put them down at the bottom. And we don't want the sign in, sign out. We actually want the log out. Oh, the settings or something like that. Yeah. Okay, not a problem. We can do this. And I'm going to get rid of the little, these things at the end. We'll add them back in if we want them. So, in here, we've got this. All right, yep, I can do that. No problem. So first one, link. What we want to do is we still want to keep the dashboard. I'm happy with that. That's all fine, dandy, cool. The Kanban board, we don't want the spans in there at all. We still want to keep the Kanban board, easy done. The inbox, we want to get rid of that. We're just going to put projects. So it'll be like projects. And then the next one, we're just going to put tasks. None of these icons are going to line up whatsoever. And I do understand that. Yeah, this is just meant for a very quick visual sort of aid for people. I'm also realizing that the border is causing problems. Yeah, I'll get this. So we've got the tasks, and then with the products, I'm going to say request for change. Yep, request for change. And then we've got the sign in and the sign up. I'm actually going to do this, and what we're going to do is we're going to grab this again, and we're just going to paste this one down here, and I'm going to go settings. Like so. So we've got a settings in there. Now you might be wondering, oh, what are you doing that? And I'm going to be like, well, I'm going to justify this. So what I want to do, I'm going to scroll up. So this is overflow wide, all right. And then we're going to go flex, and then we're going to go items, justify between. Oh, let's just put that over there. Not what I wanted, clearly. I want that down at the bottom. I'm trying to remember the flexbox command. Off the top of my head, it has been a very hot minute since I've done a lot of this stuff. So it is align content. No. Hang on. No, I can do this. I'm a special boy. I can do this. We're going to bump this off to the left so you guys can see what the hell I'm doing. I'm just going to, it's not justify items in, it's not in a row, it's justify content. It's not in a row or column. Flexbox column, layout column. It is, so flex direction, that's the one. All right, so in here we want to go flex direction column. Not sure if that's the right one. Yeah, it's not. So what we want to do, Tailwind CSS, flex direction. Going to open up this. It's just flex row. All right, I'm overly complicating this. So it'll be flex column, or col, I should say. I'm just going to close this. I'm going to close this. I'm going to close this. We're just going to go over here. I'm just going to bump that back over to the right. So now we've got the problem of the settings not being here. So they're down at the very bottom. They're the overflow down here, which is not what I want. So if I get rid of that and pretend it never happened, we now get that up there. Now, Just having a quick think how I could solve this. And I think we got the same problem with the profile image. So if we go up here, in here, and I'm like, cool, I'm going to delete this node, boom, there it is. So I think I know why it's happening like that. All right, cool. The reason why it's happening like that is because I've said full width and then I've moved everything across. Which is not what it likes. So, yeah. For example, if I bump it down into this again, you notice it pops back in, then it just disappears. It's probably over here on the screen. Which means I've got to figure out how to not do that. All right. So in here, I've got the flex full width. I'm just going to get rid of that full width. Okay, not a worry. It didn't like that. I'm also going to get rid of the full width here. And we're going to do that going upstream. So justify between. That's small, that's flex. Oh. If I get rid of that. All right. Now we're getting somewhere. I'm gonna reload. Watch me struggle a little bit longer. There we go. Not a problem. Not a problem. Okay, so I need another one. Another let's have a look at Tailwind. All right, we've got the heights. Let's go into width 100%. Width. Let's just go into width. So we've got width number, which will be calculate var spacing times number. All right, cool. We've got width fraction, cool. We got all of that other stuff. We've got width full, which is width 100%, which is not working for us. Width screen, which is 100, which is the whole entire viewport. Another thing I could potentially do is I could just add in padding instead, and then we can add and remove that padding where we see fit. That will be pretty easy to do. Yeah, and in Vue.js that's going to be pretty easy to sort of manage that state also, because I'll have a flag being like is menu out, and then we can it'll just calculate the classes that go into it. So that is the other way of doing it, and it's probably better to do it that way. That way I get to keep all of these widths and stuff like that. Yeah, all right, let's do that. So in here, we're keeping everything the same. We're going into navigation, keeping everything the same, except for the padding. Sorry, not the padding, except for this here. This will be padding left 64. And then if I hit refresh, done. Now the one problem is this nav bar is above, so hence it's overtaking the logo. So we've got it at Z50. I'm just going to bump that down to, let's go Z30. Easy done. And we go over here, we see the NearBeach logo again. Another thing I would probably do is definitely get rid of that border. Or because I want the NearBeach logo to be part of that menu. All right, cool. Yep, easy done. Yeah, let's get rid of the border. Also, let's make that color back to normal in the sidebar. So on the sidebar, I'm just going to go down here. We are, so padding auto, padding Y, background amber, background none. We're just getting rid of those. That's fine. I don't care. Bang, like that. Now I just got to get the border up here gone. So we've got the background, border right, background gray. Sorry, border gray. We'll get rid of those. We've got the get rid of those. All right. So that blends in a little bit better. Now, once again, if we were yeah, this is, I'm thinking way too much about borders at the moment and getting everything lined up and so forth like that, when in reality I should just be focusing on the bare minimum, what looks good, and then dealing with the little tiny things. So I like that. That's looking great. The next thing is, let's get that settings down there. Yeah, so a lot of the UI will be done. It will be redone and so forth like that. So I had a chat with the other members. We're pretty much all agreed to see at how much I can actually do, and then if required, we could potentially hire someone. We don't have much money to hire someone, so it'll be one of those sort of things where it'll be like, listen, we've only got this much money, and that's it. That's all we can actually guarantee. Yeah. All right. Oh, ah. Okay, so now I've got to get that setting down at the bottom. Now I think that is the same sort of situation with this one where I've done a height full and it goes further than what the page actually renders. That's perfectly fine. It just means we've got to do one of two things. I could potentially move this in here and then manipulate all the paddings and stuff like that, which will work perfectly fine. But then I won't be able to do the space between these. And Tailwind might actually have a solution, or Flexbox. So Flexbox, space, fill space between two elements. Too many requests. All right, cool. Thanks, Reddit. All right. I don't know why that happened. Yeah. I mean, I can do this with a bit of development here, moving a couple of divs around and so forth like that. That's not going to be a problem, and I think to save time, I'm going to do that. So with the sidebar, we've got the fixed top width. Height is going to be the whole entire screen. We're all happy with that. This is the logo. This is our first thing. So what I'm going to do is, straight off the bat, I'm going to go div class equals. I'm going to remove those recommendations. We are going to do height full. We're going to also do width full. So that's 100%. The page a minute currently. So yeah, this is what it looks like. And I think I know the solution. The solution's going to be really, really simple. I just need to move a couple of divs around and just restructure it that way. Yeah, that's it. And that will work fine. Oh, nearly throwing my ball around. All right, anyway, I've got to jump back. I think I got whilst it's still fresh in my head. So I want to do class equals. We want to do height full, width full. We want to do flex item center. We want to justify at this item start. I'm then just going to yank those 4 lines. I'm going to paste them in here like that. Oh yeah, no, all good, all good. I think that is how I want to have that at the moment. I also want to copy. I end up just doing this one. All right, cool. No, I just realized I end up doing this one div. I'm just going to paste it in like that. I'm just going to do something like that. All right, so it's going to be like that, but we need to do the padding top is going to be, in a sense, 0. There we go, that's perfect. The padding bottom, at the very bottom we want 4. Padding on each side is going to be 3. The full width, we've got all of that. And then this is where we're going to go padding top is going to be 4 here. This is where I'm going to put in all of these in here. Both sets. Like so. I'm just going to reformat the HTML. There we go. Easy done. So that gives me that now. Which is looking how we want it. We want to move the settings down at the bottom. So for the top one, the flex and all of that, I'm happy with. Now with this one, what we do is we do flex and then we do justify around, and we've also got to do flex column, and this actually should belong over here like so. I don't think I need it here anymore, so I'm going to remove it from there. just gonna hit refresh just in case something happened. All right, cool. So this and this should now be at different ends of the whole entire thing. All right, I've mucked up something. All right. Oh, I gotta stress that arm a little bit more. Okay, let's close that. To do properties. Scroll all the way up to the top. I've probably got something wrong. Okay. Yeah, we want space between, not around. Okay. Just double checking I've got the right property. Yeah, that's what I want. Not around, between. Okay. Let's inspect this. So we've got that. Yep, we're happy with that. We're opening up that. And then we've got the flex column. Hang on a minute. Oh, did I removed it. All right, not a problem. Let's have a quick look. I'm just going to go display flex. I'm writing this into the CSS editor. So display flex, justify content, space between. That's still... Unless it doesn't like the fact that those are unsorted lists, and that's why it's not working, which could be possible. I am going to quickly test that. We can just shove a quick divs around them. And I'm just going to clean up that very, very quickly. We're just going to hit reload. All right. But also at the same time, I'm doing this vertically. Yeah, but that's nah. Okay. All right. Flexbox. Column. What are the words I'm trying to think of? I can't. It's getting late at night, and this is why I'm having trouble thinking. And I realize I've got to jump back onto work stuff in a minute. So, flexbox column, space between. Alright, Reddit, are you going to be like, no, you visited us way too much? The column box automatically has a height that if you want the gap between those either. Oh, that's something so silly. Alright. That's the height. I gotta do height full to get that to work, and that's it. Now, that being said, we need to actually minus that up there. But let's just hit refresh. All right, cool. So I don't need the divs. I'm gonna get rid of the divs very, very quickly. We're gonna reorganize that again. We're just gonna refresh this so we're actually happy with this. And I'm just wondering also if I can justify self and, oh, doesn't work. Okay, flexbox. Flex column height border black, added up auto. Okay. So I'm now trying to figure out ways I can actually solve this. Margin top auto. Now the one problem is that is height equals 100%. This is where we need to do the calc 100% minus something like that, and it's going to be 60 something pixels. And it's just like, oh. All right. It's the joys of CSS sometimes. All right, that's what I'm trying to get at there. I'm going to take a little snapshot of that. I'm going to post it on Blue Sky and Twitter, and yeah, let's do that right now. Let's do the save full page. That's looking good. I'm liking it. And once again, this is just a draft. We're just going to get some feedback, and feel free to give feedback. We're also going to put this on our Discord. So yeah, please give us some feedback. All right, so let's do the Blue Sky. Let's zoom in so you guys can see. Before I forget. Ah. I've logged out. All right, not a problem. I'll get this. I'll cross-post it. And for those interested, there is the link. All right. Anyway, thank you very much, everyone. I better run because I got to get back to work, sadly. All right, let's find someone to raid. We know someone who's going to raid. So I'm Robotic Head. This guy is a normal guy with a head. A floating head, I should say. Let's hit raid. Personally, I think it's a little flat. Like, yeah, at the moment it is definitely flat. It definitely needs boundaries and stuff like that. But I just want to get the layout sort of organized, and then we can go back and sort of tweak it. The layout's going to be like 20% of the work. All of that sort of stuff, getting rid of the flatness and so forth like that, is going to be 80% of the work. And yeah, it's a good start. So yeah. Anyway, we are going to raid a game dev called, I keep forgetting his name, Hypnotic Games, or however you pronounce it. So yeah. I'm going to hit the raid button, and I shall see you guys Wednesday. So yeah, anyway, thank you very much. And for those on YouTube, thank you very much for being here. Sadly, you won't be able to follow us, and I'm hoping to see you next time. So don't forget to like.